What's up, bros? We are here with our good friend Chris Bassett. He made the drive from Potomac up to see us. He's actually at my house in my living room. So, Chris, what's up, man? How was the drive?
Drive was good. I mean, it's a short little jaunt.
Yep.
You're in Philly. You can
John.
say
Call it
John
John.
for anything, right?
Short
John.
Pretty much, yeah.
John is
John,
anything.
we're here. No, it was good. It was good.
Nice.
Glad to have you here.
Happy to be
Your
here.
post reunion. So,
Post reunion.
is that relieving?
It is. I mean, this season, obviously, I went through a lot this season. Never expected me to be the center of attention for a majority of the season. Obviously, not the whole season, but what's really weird is as the husbands on the show, like we expect to get some shit, right? I mean, somebody's always in the mix for whatever, but when it's untrue, it's hurtful, it's damaging, and we don't have the platform that these women do, right? Nobody's booking Chris
Right.
to go on whatever podcast or interview, right? Bravo and NBC Universal, they have PR. They're promoting their show. They're promoting the women because it's housewives, right?
Yeah.
It's housewives. And that's cool. And you get a lot of people, it's housewives, it's not house husbands.
Yeah.
And that's cool. I totally get it.
Yeah.
And I said this at the reunion. Ray said it at the reunion. Eddie said it at the reunion. We're here to support our wives. If you don't want to hear from us, don't talk about us. Right? And so for me to be able to go to the reunion, and Andy literally gave me the floor. He was like, when the husbands come out, he was like, Chris, I'm going to give you the floor. Do you want to talk, or do you want me to ask questions, or what do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, just start with a question and we'll go from there.
Yeah, because you know it's going to snowball into something else.
Of course. I mean, that's how this works, right? But he literally asked me one question and then it just all started coming out. And I got to express how I felt. And I told Andy, I told the people from Truly, everybody who was there, was like, listen, I don't care how this gets chopped up and no, we're going to show it all. And I believe that they will, as they have done all season, and I am grateful for that. But I was like, it doesn't matter which part, because I probably spoke for 7 to 10 minutes, just getting everything out. And it progressively, the emotion was coming with it, because, I mean, that's a lot to go through. But I was like, I don't care what you show. Like, I feel good. The people that needed to hear what I had to say, and I they could hear it, see it, and feel it in that moment. So I got it all out, and I feel good about it. So it was good. It was a good experience, and no matter what they show, I'm happy at the end of it. So
You have to say your piece.
yeah. And take it or leave it. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we kind of saw it coming in, and we talked to you back in December. You were on our holiday party, and one of the questions that we had was, how does the editing really come into play? And at that point in time, we hadn't seen the editing come in to kind of protect you like it did a little bit later in the season.
Right, yeah.
But we did see early in the season, they made it look like you and your wife were arguing in front of this doctor, and you're like, no, the fucking doctor was in a different room.
Yeah.
Like, no. And we, looking back on that, I mean, Steele and I have the luxury of talking to our wives, my fiance, and they notice things that we don't.
intuitive.
Oh my God. And so it's so funny because, like, I like to watch with this, and not to get way off track immediately, I like to watch with the subtitles on, because I like, a lot of times you'll hear somebody talking over somebody else. And you're like, what did she say? But you see that.
Yeah.
My fiance gets so mad because she's like, I want to see their makeup. You got the subtitles and it's popping up over this girl's eyelashes, and I really like them. And I'm like, I need to know what the hell's going on. I need to know what they're saying.
We're doing a podcast here. I need all the details.
I'm watching game film. This is Monday morning quarterback
There
for
you
Steele
go.
and I. Like, we watch this shit Monday, Tuesday, and it's really funny. But she noticed something, and she kind of spun it. And she's like, did you notice the way, like, later, yeah, they saved Chris, but in the beginning, they made it look like him and Candiace were, like, arguing about this and that and whatever, and then it rolls right into Karen's spring party. And then all that shit starts popping off. And then the Gizelle shit starts popping off. And it's like they spun it to make it look bad, but then they protected you. Thank God, because they really don't
Yeah,
protect
I know,
people.
dude.
And
Yeah.
I'm just very thankful that they had that, where they're like, Chris isn't looking. Chris isn't looking. Like, here's Cookie Monster over here. Chris isn't, which, by the way, your wife, I mean, her clapbacks and just her fucking insults.
Dude,
I don't know where
so funny.
Where does that even? What?
And you don't even know where they're coming from. That's great.
No.
But when that happens, like, because we love her clapbacks, like she's unmatched in the entire Housewives realm for like coming back at
I
people.
would agree.
When she hears some of the clapbacks, like watching it back, is she like, "Ooh, that was a little too mean"? Because some of them are like, we love it. We want her to
Yeah.
be
Oh,
meaner.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, I don't know if I was the one to say that, to be like, yeah, that was a
Yeah.
little
So this season after season 5, like I kind of cut back on watching the shows as they play back. Right. I mean, I lived it. I already know what it is, but obviously we need to know because we don't know what other people film and what they say. We don't know what they say in their confessionals. And when you go to the reunion, you need to have all the ammunition that you can get, right? And so she forces me to watch some of it. But yeah, there's times she's like, I don't even know where that came from. Like I was just because like I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of doing a few confessionals, and there's alcohol there, right? They want you
yeah.
to be loose. That's how they get.
I always
good
wondered
stuff.
if they're actually drinking or if those are mocktails.
I mean, I can only speak for myself and Candiace. We drink.
Yeah.
We enjoy it and we have a good time. For me, I've said this several times. I don't like the cameras. This was never my world. I'm a restaurant guy. Let me just do my thing over here. It's difficult for me to just create conversation out of nothing, right? Because that's what the show is. It's we're filming conversations. And the very first scene we ever filmed, it was supposed to be like I'm getting home from work, which is true. A lot of people think it's scripted. We have 0 scripts. I have never been handed a script or been told what to say. Just want to put that out there. I know there's conspiracy. Have it scripted. Now, people may get together and, hey, we're going to do this and whatever. That's on them. I can say with 100% certainty that Candiace and I, everything you get from us is real, live, and in person. But we were filming like what it is when I get home from work. And they're like, okay, well, Candiace is going to be here, blah, blah, blah. You come in. Well, I don't come in the front door. I come in through the garage. Well, we've got our video village set up down there, whatever. You got to come in this way. Like, okay, fine. So I come in and we start this scene and it's just like, it's not real. It's not comfortable. And it's very dull.
Yeah.
And it's not working. And 20 minutes into it, the producer comes up and is like, guys, I know this is your first scene, but this is not what we saw in interview tapes. It's stale. It doesn't feel. I was like, well, because this is not how it would be.
Yeah.
I would do this and she would be here and this would be, I was like, then do that. I was like, okay, hold on. 3 quick shots. Literally like bang, bang, bang. Go outside, come back in, and we run it again. And I pour a drink when I get home. She's in the spot where she would normally be. And we went for 3 hours uninterrupted.
Nice.
Just straight filming because now I'm loose. I don't care about the cameras anymore. I've had a drink. I'm like, and that's where that whole like season. We're on season 7, right? Yeah. So the whole season 6. Oh, Chris is an alcoholic. He drinks a lot. That's been since season 3, our first season. I need a drink just to get ready for the camera because I don't talk a lot. Listen, I stopped and met cousin Hank, and I had 2 drinks with him. I went to my friend's house and I had a drink, and now I'm good, so I can talk to you guys and be free, and we can have some fun because otherwise I might be really stiff and like, hi. I don't know what's happening. Like that's just my personality. I'm very reserved and I like to have a good time. And that's kind of how we got into this mess this season because I'm the guy who just wants to have a good time. Hospitality. It's make sure everybody's enjoying themselves. That's all I try to do. And now it's been turned against me and the season sucked from that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would, because obviously we've been talking back and forth pretty much the majority of the season. But I would legit, there'd be days where I would like check in. I'd be like, yo, dude, how you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
good?
And that is appreciated. I tell you what, that really means a lot. It goes a long way. I mean, I don't know if other Bravo celebrities or whatever feel that, but I've been honest. I'm an emotional person. I'm a Pisces. I'm a water sign. I'm very fluid. But no, I mean, like, it's really, I don't know. It's an experience that I don't know how to really explain because, like, we live it during filming.
Sure.
then it airs and everybody else is watching it. So they have their comments and their thoughts on everything. And now you've got to relive it. And now I feel like sometimes, do I have to defend myself? And then they're like, oh my God, why are you dragging this out? Why is a husband in women's business? No, it's not women's business. This is my life. This
Yeah.
is my life. And that, when I see, call me Christina, call me, Patricia, as they do with Peter. Whatever. I get it. It's a show about women. Totally. But again, if you don't want to hear about me, don't talk about me.
Yeah, leave you out.
Let me
of it.
just be like, hey, I'm here to make you some food. Would you like dinner?
Yeah.
Because I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah,
Totally cool with that.
It is pretty brutal. And it's weird that people get so up in arms about, with your show specifically, the husbands getting involved in shit, because there's so many other shows out there. Like Jersey, they have full episodes with all the husbands out on a fucking boat for
Right.
6 hours drinking and like playing with fake like plastic dicks. But then you pop in and you're just like talking to somebody at the bar and they're like, I hate this storyline, like get out of here. But you're okay with Jersey. You're okay with, Mauricio and PK out in Beverly Hills, like having a bromance. That's cool. But we never really get like, you're the only one who did a confessional this year, by the way.
the last 2 years.
Yeah, we never got Eddie. We don't get, I mean, I can't imagine Ray and G.
I would love a Ray confessional. A Ray confessional would be great.
I don't know. I just like, Ray's his own guy. I feel like he probably just doesn't want to get into it. And you're just like, fuck it. Like, I don't care. I'm here with my wife. I'm just going to hang out, have a couple of drinks, and we'll just talk about what's going on here.
I mean, that's who we are.
Yeah.
We just, I don't know. It's great because, like my previous 2 relationships, I've never felt so comfortable in a relationship, and a lot of it was self-reflection after my divorce. But you got to realize like, maybe it's not just the woman. There's some things that I have to fix too. And when you can, in retrospect, right, self-analyze and get to a point, and I mean, we understand each other, and we don't always get along. I mean, find me a marriage where everything is 100% perfect all the time, and I'll tell you, they don't love each other.
Yeah.
It's not real. And we just like to have a good time. But we're both emotional people, and we are very strong in our beliefs, and if we butt heads, we butt heads. But we know, and whatever it's on me, it's usually much quicker than her, but we're going to be okay because we talk about everything. Everything. And even, so she knew that I was in Gizelle's dressing room. She knew that I had replied to a story on social media about Ashley.
It's a very important distinction, by the way.
It is.
Yeah. Like DMing is personal message out of your way. Replying to a story is just like, oh shit, like you're here, like you should have let me know. Boom. Done, over with.
And what
you
I
think
said,
you're friends too. Like Candiace has known Ashley for how many years? You know Ashley. Like you think that you're safe just being like, oh yeah, you were at this bar, like you should have let me know. Like you could have popped in, I would have set you up at the table, whatever the fuck you were gonna do. And
want the real story
it
on
just
that?
spins absolutely.
we
Yeah.
do. We really, really do.
So a lot of people are very like, Ashley isn't friends with Candiace. Why would you do that? Blah, 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 blah. Flashback season 6, Chesapeake. After the dinner incident, right? Where Ashley and I are having a conversation. Candiace kind of butts into the conversation, and I kind of get upset with Candiace, and then I leave. That night, we go back to the house. Everybody else has gone to bed. It's Candiace, Ashley, Karen, and myself. Sitting there drinking, hanging out, no cameras, just us, real talk. And Ashley, she says something to me that kind of resonates in the sense that like, it's like, Chris, it's a show, while, we're being real and everything, like some stuff, obviously it's exaggerated in the moment or whatever, but just let it go. Let Candiace be her own person. And I took that to heart, and I was like, you know what? I'm seeing Ashley as a real person in this moment. I'm hearing what you're saying. Got it. And so I start to let things go. Then we get to the reunion. After the reunion, Ashley, I think she might have had 1 or 2 friends there. Candiace, myself, Candiace's entire glam team, Wendy, Eddie, and Wendy's entire glam team. We all go out to a bar. We're getting drunk. We're hanging out, having a good time. Shut the bar down. Move on. That's the end of the season. Candiace and Ashley go to New York Fashion Week. They're at a Telfar party. They hang out, have a great time. So I'm thinking everything is like friendly and we're moving past all of this. And then we get to season 6. or 7 rather, season 7 at the Spring Fling. And every single housewife, Karen, Gizelle, Robyn, Charisse, Wendy, Mia, all come up to me at that party and they all say, "Oh, I hear you got a new job," or "Congratulations, oh, you're at this place." Everybody knew that I was at that hotel.
Mm-hmm.
There was a conversation, I don't know if they're going to show it at the reunion because I mentioned it at the reunion, but I know for a fact it was Robyn, Charisse, and Gizelle. I thought Ashley was there. She says that she wasn't. That could be true. Again, I don't remember, but they were all saying, "Oh, yeah, we used to go up there and party all the time, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Come by anytime. Like, I'm there, whatever." And so, yeah, I'm off of work. I'm at home waiting for Candiace to land because it was Grammy weekend again. And I'm waiting for her to land in Vegas. And that's when I see it and I respond. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that you worked there," and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and so we're at the reunion. I'm like, so was it the text message? Because that was past tense. Like, I didn't say, "Come now."
Yeah.
This was past tense. Or was it the time? She's like, "Well, it was the time." And I was like, "Oh, that's funny. Because on November 11th, I did the same thing where I commented on one of your stories where you're dancing with your Corona and your baby, and you responded at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's selective. It's
And she
picking
was like,
and
well, it was the context. Oh, it was the context. You thought I wanted to sleep with you at a hotel at
that you work at.
When
That's
the-
the thing that we were talking about on the
We're like-
podcast. We're like, why the fuck would he invite you to his place of business to conduct himself like that? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
I wanted to get fired so I could have a storyline.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You wanted to take over the housewives of Potomac.
Man,
Like,
and it's just, it's so hard because Candiace and I, like, are genuine people. Like, we want, like, if you're cool, we're cool. And Ashley has these moments where off camera, her and Candiace, like, they could legit be really, really good friends.
Yeah.
They have so much in common. Like,
you see glimpses of it on the show.
you do. And then it's, everyone wants to say it's Candiace's mouth. And yeah, she has a mouth, and I called her out at the reunion too. But there are certain things that people do that it's like, "Oh, you wrote a statement here. Oh, well, you did this here. Oh, well, now I had you over at my house, but now you're saying that my husband is trying to sleep with you." It's like,
Yeah.
why do you continue to do that? And it's frustrating.
And we get pissed off at Ashley all the time just because we think that she plays it up for the cameras. She tries to push the storyline, tries to make shit up so that it looks a lot cooler. So this all checks out. Like, off cameras, it sounds like she is cool and fun and great.
Amazing off camera.
Yeah. And then on camera, it's like, oh, I've got a role to play here. I've got, this just happened. This timing is coincidental. This works for me in a storyline. Let me just play this up and see how it
You
goes.
see her face
Like, come
light up.
on.
Like, she literally lights up when she's got some shit to talk, and it's like you watch it just play out.
Smiling in the moment.
Exactly. She just has this like shit-eating grin on her face, and then she goes from one group of ladies that just said, "Do not share this information. Don't tell anybody." And she's like, and she walks right over and she's like, "I can't say anything, guys. It's about you. I can't talk about it." And they're like, "Well,"
but if you guess really well, then I'll tell you.
yeah. And then they don't guess ever. And then she's like, "Well, actually, it's this." And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, and look, to an extent, I get it. In the sense, nobody wants to watch a show where everyone is happy and getting along all the time, right? That's not fun.
sense.
That's like, sweet, you have great friendships, awesome. But have some discretion. Like, be smart. Be smarter. Like, you know what you're doing, but like, there are ways to go about it. And some of them just, these aren't it. You're failing miserably. And it's frustrating when, so I don't know if I can say it or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. About 2, maybe 3 weeks into filming, the ladies, they all had a call where production was like, "Guys, we need more. Personal story is not there. Like, we're having we need more." And that's when you started to get Chris was inviting me to a hotel.
Well, there's a Twitter thread going on right now where it shows 4 of them, and I think it's Ashley, Gizelle, Robyn, and Karen. And they're saying maybe Karen doesn't have anything to do with it, but the 3 of them were definitely thinking of something. And there was a source coming out of there saying, "This is what we're going to do this year. This is the storyline we're going to go after." Gizelle comes in and she goes, well, I had that hotel room situation with Chris. Ashley goes, I got a DM from Chris, a couple of weeks ago. There's something here. Let's just, we'll see what happens. And it's like, that's so fucked up because it's like, for you as like a husband in this role, you're now learning, you're like, shit, like everything I say, somebody's going to use it against me.
Yeah.
I just need to like shut my mouth or just like not say anything. But then you're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not being myself. So then it sucks and you're just stuck.
Because I do want to be authentic and genuine and my real self. Now, I will say, and this is my fucking problem right here, is I'm too goddamn nice because I'm going to defend the ladies right now in the sense that, yes, the four of them did meet up and have whatever conversations that they had. Fuck. Do I think that was the conversation? I don't. Only because that meetup happened before Karen's spring fling.
Mm-hmm.
And the spring fling that night was the night that I DM'd Ashley.
Okay.
So you couldn't make that story without that.
Okay. Yeah, and the timeline's always skewed on this. So
now, did they have a conversation after that? I'm sure. Listen, we've seen it in different franchises, right? Where there's, the group thread, and then there's the
shadow
secret thread,
the
right?
Shadow government, yeah.
So do the OGs have a secret, or is there a thread with Gizelle, Robyn, and Ashley? I wouldn't put it past. I'm sure there is.
I think there definitely
right.
is.
I'm sure there is, and that's okay. It's okay to have that. No one's saying that you cannot have that. I'm sure that, and they do. And did it develop after? That I do 100% believe.
Yeah, they had to have been in cahoots at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too tactical.
And I can sit here and I say, look, if I never would have sent that message to Ashley, thinking that we're on friendly terms, and it's like, oh man, we were literally just talking about this 6 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
If I never send that, does this storyline happen? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
Yeah, probably not.
But I mean, so yeah, sure. I sent the message. I've got to accept some responsibility, right? But I don't know. It's tough. And even so, we saw the preview for the finale, and I'm sitting there, and it looks like I'm yelling at Candiace. I was actually yelling at Ashley, and I literally said, "Fuck you." But the type of person that I am, after you see me go back into the hallway, and Candiace and I are talking, once cameras were down, I felt bad. And I went over to Ashley, who was standing at the bar with Robyn. I was like, Ashley, I'm upset with everything that you said, but I'm going to apologize for saying fuck you. So I'm sorry for that.
That's nice of you. I don't know if I would have.
I don't think I would have.
But that's who I am as a person. And that's why it's so hurtful for me and why I had such a hard time this season, because that's just who I am. I just want everybody to get along and have a good time. And like I said, the reunion, Gizelle tried to say that I went to her room to complain about Candiace. And you'll hear, hopefully they show it at the reunion. But what I said was, you all cannot continue fighting. Nobody wants to watch that shit. It's boring. Like, I get it. You got to have some drama here and there, but there's got to be some sisterhood. There's got to be some fun in this show.
Yeah.
So Gizelle, I'm inviting you and Robyn over to the house. I'm going to cook, and the three of you are going to sit there and figure your shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And how to move forward from this, because I did not like the flip-flop from season 5 reunion to season 6 reunion and your stance of physical violence and saying, oh, well, if Mia would have hit you, I'd have been okay with that, and your mouth this and your mouth that, but meanwhile, your mouth is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild ride. It's a roller coaster, and being an emotional person, like, it's tough. Like, I feel everything.
Yeah.
And my end goal for all of this is I just want everybody to get along and have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's fun, right?
Well, that's what we call, like, we talk about it because we've been into Miami. Like, we actually like Miami. It's been a pretty great season. And I think a big part of it, they're crazy. But a big part of the enjoyment, I think, is, like, you see them having fun together. And then you see the shit. Like, you see them blow up eventually, but they give you this reprieve where it's like, oh, see, they are friends on some level. They can at least go out and be cordial and, like, have a good time, whatever. And then when they blow up, you're like, all right, I want to see them blow up a little bit. But when it's constantly just fight, and then another fight, and then another fight, and then clearly the shit they're throwing out there is not real. Like they're clearly trying to grab a storyline. It gets stale really quick. It can get stale like in 2 episodes. There's always the 1 episode buffer where you're like, it's just an off episode. You get 2 bad ones in a row. You're like, what the fuck? I'm just gonna like scream at each other or like keep throwing Chris under the bus. Like, what are we doing? Like, it just doesn't. It never clicks that way.
Yeah, I mean, people like to call Gizelle a ghost producer, and maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I'm not into all of that. I don't know, but like if that's your role, if that's who you want to be, you've got to realize that there's got to be resolution. Like everybody wants resolution.
Yeah.
At some point, it doesn't have to be full on resolution like, oh my God, I love you, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. But there's got to be a medium. There's got to be a common ground where you can be like, you know what? I don't necessarily agree, but I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
And we can move on and things are cool. And so a lot of people are asking, well, all this stuff went down. Why is Gizelle and why is Ashley at this finale that is Candiace's event? Because in Mexico, we saw the conversation with Ashley and Candiace, but Candiace and Gizelle actually got to a better place as well. And so after the episode where I got upset with Ray in the moment, which didn't actually get brought up at the reunion, but whatever, it doesn't matter because I like Ray and Ray's cool, and it was a moment thing, not a issue thing. I told production, I was like, listen, I don't want to film anymore. And I stepped away, and you didn't see me until like last week, right?
Yeah.
Last week's episode. I was 5-6 episodes. You didn't see me at all. I just didn't want to be involved in it. I just didn't like where it was going. And then I show up at this event, and here it is again. But it was just like, why does this continue to happen? Like there's just no resolution.
Yeah.
And
or there is, and they don't show it. That's like you just said, like Candiace and Gizelle got into a better place. We didn't see that. We didn't get to see them go out at the end of Mexico. Like when Candiace came back and you guys were sitting there and she was having a mimosa, you would work later. You guys are talking about it, and she's like, you know what? Like that last night, like I got pretty fucked up. Like next thing I knew, I was in the shower. And you're like, well, that's pretty fucking impressive. But it looks like they had a really fun night.
Why don't we see
And
that?
we saw like 2 pictures. And we're like, we
because-
need to see them have fun because it makes it more fun for us. And then organically, we want to see them fight because we're like, shit, we just got back to a good place. Now they're fighting again.
Well,
And we're
so
like, fuck.
Gizelle wasn't there for that.
Okay. Vagina bumping.
Yeah, we heard all about the vagina bumping.
Right. Like,
She was really trying. Giselle was pushing that phrase. And I'm like, all right, Giselle, please.
Yeah.
Stop.
man.
She was the one that was
And
saying
this
it happened.
is
Yeah.
this is the part where I have discretion and all of us hear rumors about everybody.
I'm sure.
And I could drop 12 of them right now about Gizelle. But I don't know that they're true or not. And quite honestly, I don't give a shit. And so I'm not going to. But Gizelle wasn't there for that, right? That was just the 4 of those ladies. But another thing that people have to remember is that the camera guys, right? The production crew, they're union. They have hours that they can work.
Okay.
And that's that. And imagine, like, especially on these cast trips, they bring in extra film crew so they can film for as long as possible.
Yeah.
But there's always an end. And after you've been filming and you're on for so long, like, it's time to let loose.
Yeah.
And so a lot of this
That makes
stuff
sense.
happens afterwards. And some of the girls, they'll get their cameras out and they'll take pictures.
Yeah,
and
we'll
then
see, like, the
production will
phone
ask
video,
for it.
yeah.
Right. And you get some of that. But that's the problem. And this is what I think is going to be the detriment of this franchise as a whole. Not Potomac, but Housewives in general. And I'll be honest, I think it started with season 5 of Potomac. It just went, there was the fight, right? That no one wants to talk about anymore, but it set it off and it put Potomac on a map, and everybody has been trying to one up ever since, I feel, in all the
That's
franchises.
actually a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good, because that was the first time you saw quote unquote contact when Monique threw the glass.
Right.
and
I
all that
mean,
shit
we've seen
popped off.
glasses being smashed, and we've
Tables
seen
flipped.
right.
That was the first
but-
time I was like, physical
Yeah.
between two people.
Physical, and then when it was broken up, it was like, I want to find her, I'm going to get, and it continued afterwards, right? And social media went nuts over it.
Yeah.
And I think every franchise has tried to find that moment where we want to be on that level. We want to be on that level.
We've seen it. We've honestly seen it in almost every franchise. There's these moments where they try to make it this big, iconic, like, holy shit, and it falls flat.
Yeah.
And again, this is what I think is the detriment of this show. We've gotten away from just being real, and it's who can create the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you're forcing it, and you can tell, and it's not real anymore. And it's kind of sad. Like, I'll be honest, 5 years, I don't see Housewives anymore.
Wow.
That's my honest
Bold
opinion.
prediction. You heard it here first.
That's
Sometimes
my
we
honest
forget that we have
opinion.
the camera over there.
Yeah,
so
I
we-
always
And-
forget that it's there.
we gesture, yeah.
Look,
Hey.
I mean, I think that's why we're getting these ultimate girls trips and
Trying to
ex-wives
find
clubs.
something that's going to stick, and that's like, with Southern Hospitality that came out, and it's kind of almost a rebrand of VPR, I guess you could say. Like, it's similar to Vanderpump in its setup and everything. We actually really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
But you can tell that
Because
they're-
it's different than Housewives.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to throw shit against the wall to see what's going to stick. And we've actually discussed, like, these next batch of shows that are coming out, like, they're important to the network as a whole. Like, they need to find something that's going to hold on, because this stuff is starting to fade. And you can see in comments online, you can see the fans talking about it. They're like, this is getting old. This shtick is tired.
Yep.
This is also tired. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we doing this? Why are we pushing all this shit instead of, we want to see the lives of these women. Like, that's why we watch the show, is to, like, see behind the scenes of these lavish lifestyles. You don't have to force feed us shit.
Yeah, we don't want this like manufactured drama
Correct.
constantly. That's just
Right.
because we can sniff it out too. And look, we're not that smart, especially when it comes to watching Bravo. Like, we miss a lot of shit. Like, we're we're dudes that
you
watch
get it.
football.
You get
Like,
it.
and we played football, so we probably have CTE. We don't remember shit. Who knows?
I was a catcher for
Yeah.
15 years. I took too many foul balls off my head. There's
Exactly.
no telling
You
the
can only
damage.
imagine.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Who knows?
But like, we watch it and
Yeah.
we see things. They're like, that's bullshit. That's got to be fake. And then you see people online and they're like, this is bullshit. It has to be fake. Bravo has to be tapped into like the Twitter world or to just social media in general. Andy specifically just be like, all right, this isn't working. Like, we got to figure something
they
out.
do have focus groups.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm on the same side as you. Like, how long can you continue down the same path? Like,
People are gonna get tired.
they do, and they are. They really are. And I think we've seen it a lot with our show this year. I don't know. Like I said, this season was hard for me, but the online support was amazing. I didn't expect that. Like, coming into
In
the
our
season.
comment thread, when we posted about when all this stuff came out, and we were both like, this is ridiculous. What the
Yeah.
fuck is going on? You had hundreds of supporters like, Chris, we got your back. Chris, like, this is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Like, everybody, 99.9% of the
Yeah.
comments were in support, and the other ones were just about something different. Nobody said, like, oh, this guy's a scumbag, or like anything like that.
I mean, yeah, there's the few and far between, which was great because it did provide some sense of relief for me. But going into the season, I was very anxious. And I said this at the reunion, my ex-wife and my mother, both victims of sexual abuse as children. And so I know what makes people uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to be like, I'm not the expert, but like someone who has been victimized, right, in a sexual abuse sense, you learn how to navigate situations and what can be triggering and what cannot.
Yeah.
And then again, being in the restaurant industry, which is known to be rampant for sexual assault, sexual harassment, whatever, right? And I said, like, I've been through more sexual harassment trainings and whatever than I care to admit. But this is the industry that I'm in, and you have to, protect yourself and whatnot. And like, I can. So just
Here we go.
listen.
Here we go.
I wasn't going to say.
Hold on, guys.
I
Here we
wasn't
go.
going to say it, but I say this at the reunion. I know for a fact. I know I said 99% sure that I did not say, Gizelle, can we go to your room? growing up, I was never allowed, like, you want to go hang out with your friends, right? Call them up on the phone because we don't have cell phones. You're dialing it up. Hey, what are you doing? I couldn't say to my friends, hey, can I come over? I had to be invited over.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my friends would, like my parents would say. No, don't ask if you can. They have to invite you. Number one. Then, excuse me. So that was number one. So that's one fact that I know. I did not say, Gizelle, let's go to your room and talk. What I said was, can we go somewhere and talk in private? Because we were going to be talking about the season and upcoming and how can we get through this. And production doesn't like us to talk off camera.
Yeah.
They want everything to be done. Eddie was also there. He heard. Candiace's glam team, also there. They heard. But didn't want to bring them into it. But we talked about this at the reunion, and she can say whatever she wants to, but this is the, like, where we're at, and it's a he said, she said, and I don't want to be involved in he said, she said. And I told Gizelle at the reunion, I understand your feelings, and I don't want to disrespect your feelings. You felt how you felt, and that's cool. Like, I get it, I understand it. But what you also said was the optics of the situation. And I called her out and I said, listen, are these your actual feelings, or are you worried about what someone else might say or think because they saw us in a room together?
Good point.
Yeah.
And she said, well, it's both. Like, I feel like this is how I feel. And I mean, okay, if you say so, but
Where do you guys stand now, like post-reunion?
so I will say that Gizelle did apologize and say, I'm sorry that I said the sneaky link comment.
Okay.
So she did apologize for that. And I accepted that apology. And that was that. Now I did, because I went on sort of a rant where I was like, you've had your opportunities, and especially leading up to the reunion, the 2 weeks before, you did this whole press tour about how you have more to say and there's more to the story and blah, 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 blah.
What's she gonna do? Put it on her Patreon? Make you pay for the story?
I mean, you said it,
Like
not
Robyn?
We're
you
gonna
said
get
it, not me.
Yeah.
You said it, not
that,
me.
yeah.
God, if they start
But
fucking doing this, like,
that, we'll get to that in a minute. But she was like, no, I don't have anything else to say. I'm just gonna hold on to that. What? Okay, whatever. But so again, I took that apology and I accepted that. But she never really said, like, I asked her point blank. I was like, this made you uncomfortable. This is a situation that makes you uncomfortable. So when we got to your hotel room, right, the dressing room, and we went in there, and your glam team wasn't in there, and you said the only reason you said yes is because you thought your glam team was in there. Why didn't you say, Chris, my team's not here, I don't feel comfortable, let's do this later, or can we talk? Why didn't you say that?
Until after the fact.
Well, this was the answer. Nothing. She didn't have an answer.
Oh, she didn't respond?
She just didn't. So what? I should. What? Nothing. And if you, and that's, I mean, that's the part that really gets, like, when we got there, if that was really how you felt, like, and I said, listen, you've talked about my penis for 4 years in a row.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Every chance that you've got, you've mentioned it. And I have never said that makes me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So I would never expect you to apologize for that. But I'm telling you right now, I don't like it and it makes me uncomfortable. So I don't ever want to hear you talk about it again.
Yeah.
And she said, okay. And I said, okay. So in that same sense, this is a situation that you know that you don't like. You didn't say anything to me about it, but you want me to now apologize for it? And she couldn't get past it. I was like, listen, Gizelle, I didn't do anything. She's like, yes, you did. I said, well, what did I do? You went in my room with me. Yes, I went in with you. I don't have a key to your room. I didn't open the fucking door, right? I didn't say, Gizelle, go in the room and I'm coming in with you. You invited me in. And I'm a firm believer in no means no at any point in the conversation or the act or whatever. And when you said, hey, can you go check to see if they need me? And I left. So I didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. This is a mutual thing. This was something we both agreed to and did. What do you want me to apologize for? Well, you put me in the position.
She invited you to the room.
Yeah.
I didn't put you in the fucking position.
Yeah.
I asked and you said yes. And I went with yes until you said go.
And then you left.
And then I went. So what do I have to apologize for?
And apologizing, it makes it seem, it kind of implicates you, right? Like if you say I'm sorry, it's saying that you did something wrong and like you didn't. So all you have to say, and all you did say at the reunion was, if that's how you felt, I'm sorry for, like, your feelings are your feelings. That's not for me to say, right? Which is the correct answer. And that's a good way to just like, let's move on from this. But you can't pick and choose when that applies. And that's kind of what we saw the whole season with it. And I mean, from the beginning, when this all started to come out, and then as the season goes, the story changes, like episode to episode. You start to hear different details. You're like, well, when he told it the first time, that's not what happened. Now the second time, it paints Chris in a much different picture. Like, that already is suspect and makes a lot of the viewers, people who are watching, were skeptical as shit, because it's like, where is this coming from? One. Two, and this caught me by surprise because we don't break the fourth wall very often. But when Candiace is like, this is the way we're going this year, and like grabs the producer immediately, like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what the hell? So we've already seen that. And then we see the story change multiple times. We see everyone like conniving behind closed doors. And then you see Robyn, her ride or die, be like, no. This isn't what happened. Like, there's no way that Chris did that. Like, she even comes to lunch with you guys to clear the air with all that shit. And it's like,
which we thought was very genuine and appreciated.
Right.
Because I was apprehensive. Like, I didn't want to go to that lunch.
Yeah.
I initially did not want to. But they wanted us to do this and okay, fine. And that goes back to the finale, which I was touching on earlier. I had actually, by the finale, because Mexico, what we didn't see, Candiace and Gizelle kind of like got to a good place. I said, okay, I'd be willing to talk, the three of us, not alone, obviously. We just couldn't make it happen. And then if you go to that Watch What Happens Live episode, I think it was Gizelle and Robyn, where Gizelle was like, he apologized because he was wrong. But I didn't apologize. We just never got a chance to talk during the season. Mm. And I actually DM'd her. Let's be clear. I DM'd Gizelle because I don't have her phone number. Literally, Gizelle Bryant, DM, yes. And I said, listen, if there was something that I did that truly made you feel uncomfortable, I will apologize. But what I don't appreciate is the way that you went about this, the words that you used, and the way that you described it. I'm very upset about this.
You messaged her that.
So I messaged her that. I have it in my phone right here. And her response, here, I'll read the exact fucking message.
Please do. Give it to the viewers.
The exact message. Hey, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk this season because I feel it was a conversation that needed to be had, and maybe sometime you, Candiace, and I can have that conversation. If I truly made you feel uncomfortable, for that I'm sorry, but I'll be honest. I've been very angry about how this was played out and some of the words that you have been used, and that is why I've been hesitant. I do want you to know that I respect you as a woman and would never do anything intentionally to make you feel any way. And this is at the finale. And so today was Candiace's day, and I just wanted to celebrate her and not detract from her moment. It was nothing personal because I did not acknowledge her at the finale. Mm-hmm. Her response: apology appreciated.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Damn.
God damn.
That's it.
That's annoying.
But like
I'm trying to extend the olive branch. I'm acknowledging your feelings. I don't agree with the way you went about it. But if there was something that I actually did, because you told Karen he needs to apologize for what he did to me. And I asked her point blank, what did I do to you?
Yeah.
She didn't have an answer. Zero.
I
I
mean,
don't get it. It doesn't seem like Gizelle specifically. I feel like she doesn't need to pine for a storyline. Like she's involved in pretty much everything. She doesn't.
Well, that's her
need-
problem. She doesn't have a storyline.
Exactly. Yeah, she's just kind of like spread across everybody else's storylines. So she, I guess, thought that like maybe this could be her one thing. So now she's kind of pissed off that you're like being super nice about it, being like, "Look, I'm sorry. Like I really didn't realize it, but I don't like the way you're talking shit." And she's just like, "Apology."
and he
accepted."
didn't
Like,
even say shit.
She also didn't even say accepted. She said appreciated.
Apology.
It's
appreciated.
important to hone in on
Right.
words.
Words matter.
Words matter.
They do, unless it's Candiace, and they don't matter as much. Like it's so weird. It's such
There's a lot of double.
Yeah, there's a
standards.
lot of double standards. Yeah.
It's crazy, and it is what it is.
Then for like, and we touched on it briefly earlier, and let's dive into this next bombshell that came out. Like we saw the episode when they're in Mexico and Karen starts talking about her lookalike that Juan Dixon's supposedly dating, right? And the first thing, literally, and I'm sitting watching with my wife Dev, and I was like, dude, are we just doing this again? Like, is this the new thing? We're just gonna keep throwing husbands under the bus. Little did I know. And like we did talk about it because the phone call between the two of them, I was like, that was weird. Like the reaction from him was weird. How she carried herself was kind of weird. Like that, okay, there might be more to this. And then fast forward, I didn't even see it. You messaged me and you said, yo, can you believe this shit? And I was like, what happened? And then I clicked. I was like, oh my God, she actually did know that he was cheating on her. And it was with a blonde. So like, did she look like Karen? No, not really. But like, what the fuck for you in that moment? Like, knowing that Giselle's been sitting on this all season, she's been trying to find a way to like develop a storyline. And her way of doing that is to call you a scumbag, to make you painted in this picture that you're this gross dude that's doing stuff behind closed doors. How did it feel for you to like hear that she actually had a story about a guy stepping out, actually had a sketchy, gross story about a dude, and just sat on it because she's tight with Robyn? Like what went through your mind when you saw this come out?